Hey guys, my name is Jason and I'm here to show you how to make the perfect cup of coffee using the French press method. Why French press? Well, it is the easiest and simplest way to make a phenomenal cup of coffee right at home. Guarantee you that it's better than Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, anything that you'll get at the stores. To get you started, we'll need to run through a quick list of tools that you'll need. First and foremost, you're gonna wanna get yourself a nice French press. This is a relatively simple one I've been using for the past year from a company called Bodum. I really like it because it's got a hard plastic handle, top and bottom. These are, prone to shattering if you knock them over, so having one that has hard plastic is definitely something I would recommend to you. Another thing to think about when making coffee using the French press method is consistency. So, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Some people like a much stronger, bolder cup of coffee. Others prefer something a bit on the lighter side. But in order to keep track of that, you'll definitely want to go out and get yourself a proper food scale. This will ensure consistency when you're doing your measurements. I got this one from Amazon. It's made by a company called Ozeri. It's less than 10 bucks and a very worthwhile investment to ensure that you have that perfect cup of coffee every time. Next up, you're gonna want to find a grinder. When I first started, I used this electric Cuisinart model. It is a piece of junk. Avoid these electric models, and the reason for that is they essentially only have one setting. You want something that's going to give you the flexibility to adjust the coarseness of your grind. In some cases you're going to want something that's a lot finer. In other cases you're going to want little chunks that are the size of sea salt. This will not give you the ability to do that, so steer clear of these guys. The only sort of benefit of having an electric grinder is if you're in a rush. It is very quick, but again, throw this thing away. What you're going to want to get yourself is a proper burr grinder. This is a model that I use from a company called Hario. As you can see here, it's all done by hand, completely manual, so definitely gets you very involved in the process. And as mentioned, if you just open it up, you can see here, this is the burr that is fully adjustable. So again, you can change that coarseness depending on the type of coffee you're looking to produce. Finally, maybe the most important factor in all of this are the beans, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you are getting yourself quality coffee beans. I have been drinking this Vermont Coffee Company dark roast for quite some time. It's absolutely delicious and highly recommend it. When picking out your beans, really there's so many varieties to choose from. But that being said, the thing you want to look out for, regardless of what type of flavor profile you're after, is the roast date. So as you can see on the back of this label, these beans were just roasted on February 3rd, so about a month ago. But again, that'll be nice and fresh. Can't wait to get started and show you guys next steps. Okay guys, step one, fill your French press with water. Open your electric kettle. Once it's filled, take the water and just pour it directly into the kettle. Close the lid, make sure you put it directly on the base, and you're off. Okay guys, step two, hopefully you can see the scale here. What you'll want to do is you'll want to turn it on, make sure that you are getting a reading of 0, and then place your grinder directly on top of the scale. You'll then want to use the tare function to zero out the weight. So push tare, that'll bring it down to 0 for you. And then I can pour my beans directly into the top of the burr grinder. Generally speaking, I stick to about 50 whole grams of beans per one French press. I think that's a pretty good number. So as you can see here, I'm right at 50 grams. I think that produces a pretty bold, flavorful cup of coffee. My girlfriend thinks it's probably a little bit too much. So again, I'd recommend varying it, but I'd say somewhere between 40 to 50 grams is likely what you want to stick with. And then basically all you need to do is get your handle from the burr grinder and start grinding. All right, so we have finished the grind. Next, what I will do is I'll pour it out to give you guys a sense of my preferred coarseness level. It should be about, what I consider to be like large grains, similar to sea salt. Hopefully that gives you some idea with a dime for comparison. But you want it to be small enough where it's really able to get saturated by the hot water, but obviously not too large. That's sort of my perfect coarseness level. I'd recommend trying something similar. And again, you can fine tune it as you go. Just keep in mind that the smaller that you get, you will likely have some sludge or some leftover coffee grounds in your cup if you go too small where the filter from the French press is not able to capture it all. All right guys, the next step is pretty straightforward. Basically all you want to do is pour your coffee grounds in. Make sure you get all of them in there. Even it out, make sure it's a nice, flat, even surface. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hot water and you're gonna pour it directly onto the grounds. Now what I recommend doing is only covering about a ½ an inch worth of the grounds with hot water. Stir it up a little bit, and next you're gonna let that sit for 30 seconds. That's basically called the bloom. All right guys, once the 30 seconds of the bloom phase are up, go ahead and pour the rest of the water slowly over your coffee grounds. Make sure that you saturate all the edges of the French press. You want to make sure that it covers every bit of the coffee. And then you want to make sure you also leave a little bit of room at the top so that you can put in the filter without having it spill over. So once you have that nice and full, go ahead, push that down. And then you're gonna want to set and wait for about 8 minutes. Again, take note of the time that you like to leave your coffee for. I think 8 minutes is really the perfect amount, really gives it that bold and robust flavor. So set a timer, make sure you make note of exactly how long the coffee's been under there for. So we'll just give it about 8 minutes or so. All right, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. 8 minutes have passed. The next step is pretty straightforward. All you need to do is push down on the plunger of your French press's filter. Make sure all of those coffee grounds go easily to the bottom, and you're ready to pour. So go ahead, get your favorite glass, and make sure you pour it nice and slowly into the cup. Let it aerate. Again, that'll help make sure that it's extra flavorful. And you are on your way to making the perfect cup of French press coffee. Enjoy. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you like content like this and more about, the perfect way to make a French press cup of coffee. Thanks, guys.